What's up guys, Garrett here with Deranged Off-Road, and tonight we're going to be working on the 2021 ProXP. So I had a little bit of an incident at Dumont Sand Dunes about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where the front driveline broke on me. So we're going to be replacing it with a Super ATV one. I think it's a Rhino brand, and then also the Billet Carrier Bearing. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it, and I'll show you how to remove the current driveline that's broken. I've already done a few steps, but I'll show you what I did on that, so the video won't be as long. But we'll jump right into that, and then we'll go from there. So the first step is, of course, is remove your skid plates, which I've already done, so I can spare you that time. The next step is going to remove your pin on your front drive shaft. So first of all, the night before, I went and sprayed all that down with this blaster PB penetrating spray here. It works extremely well. Let it sit overnight. So just do that. Also, I ended up using this extension, quarter extension with just like a, it's blurry, Allen tip on it. And that's how I started it. So I was able to, you need to get the pin facing in the direction that you can get to it. So let me get under here real quick. So I've already removed it, and you can see that it's off. There you go. That I don't have it all slid on because I've already removed it. But let me show you what I did to do that. I'm going to try to hold this here and keep it as all right, so I'm going to hold that here. So what I did is I took this 1/4 inch extension and I stuck it in that hole onto the pin, and then I used the hammer right here and knocked it all the way through as far as I can. So I took that off, I put a 10mm on, and I just got an old drill bit that's complete junk, and I stuck it. I was able to guide it right over into that, I know it's hard to see, into that hole. And once I got it where I needed to, I went ahead and hammered the rest of the pin out, which looks like this. And you will reuse this when you're all done, but that's the pin you're hitting out. So having the spray on there and everything worked pretty well, and it did come right out. So that's how I got mine out. You guys can do whatever you want to get yours out, but it was actually pretty easy. So anyways, once that's done, then we go up underneath the car. All right, so what you're gonna go ahead and do is you're gonna undo the 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there, and the front one has 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. They are a 13mm, and I just used my impact, and I already started taking them out to spare you the time. So you're gonna go ahead and take out all of those. There should be 2, 4, 6, and 8 of them total. All right, guys, I know this is a pain in the butt filming from underneath. So what you're gonna do is, now that you have these both loose, is that you're gonna be able to move this back and forth some. So your key is to slide it this way first and get it off the front diff. And once you do that, so that's off. And if you use that penetrating spray, that will help it come off a lot better. Once you get that off, then you're gonna be able to pull these down, separate them here, and get the front out, and then you'll separate this one here, get the rear out, and you're gonna, you don't have to pull it out if you're just doing the front, but you do need to loosen these bolts anyways, because it helps move the drive shaft around. It gives you that added little play to get that front drive shaft off easier. I know the filming sucks, guys. It's clear underneath here, but there you go. So we'll go ahead and get those pulled off now. All right, so with the play, I was able to get it off. There is a grease zerk here, so I'm gonna go ahead and grease that one and grease this other one here while I'm down here working on it. I'm leaving this in because I don't need to remove it at this point. I have it where I need to, but my bolts are staying off. So we'll jump up on the table. I'll show you guys the parts and show you what happened to our other driveline. All right, so we're here at the table. Let's take a look at what we have for our old driveline that was damaged, and then the new one that we're installing now. All right, so this is our old driveline, front driveline, and oh, snap. Look at that bad boy. So that took a beating, and it's officially done, of course. So there's nothing I could do at Dumont besides pull it out. I looked at it and realized it couldn't be fixed, and it just got parked. So here is the new driveline. So look at that bad boy. This is the front. of where it connects. Let me turn it here. It's the Rhino brand. And then here is our rear. And this is our new carrier bearing. So new bearing, fully greasable, stock OEM bearings, carrier bearings. Interesting, isn't it? So anyways, we're gonna be installing this onto here. And then we have our parts and all of our stuff here. To get that done, we got Loctite. And then we have this special green retaining compound where everything's gonna sit on here for the bearing. So it will go there. And then we'll use our old retaining pin to push that and hammer that through there. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get that installed, but let us know what you guys think of the difference between the two. Big time difference. And maybe down the road or in a little bit, we'll end up replacing the rest of the driveline too with the new Rhino. But for now, it's just gonna be the front. All right, so I went ahead and left the foam on here to keep this up in the air for me a little bit. First, I'm gonna remove this ring. And then it also calls for to go ahead and clean this extremely well and make sure that there's no grease or anything on the shaft there that you're putting the bearing on. So I just have some acetone. Make sure that's all nice and clean. And then from there, what we're gonna go ahead and do is slide. So this calls for this to be removed and the bearing to be put on. So I need to go ahead and pop these apart, get the bearing on, show you what direction that bearing goes, to make sure it's going the right direction, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now that I have that off, you have to make sure that the bearing is going the right direction. So since we're going to be installing here, the bearing will go this way, which will actually make that the center of the bracket here, and that's where this ring needs to be. So if you can see that ring there, that line there in the bracket needs to be on the center of that, and that's how that lines up, just like that. And that is where the grease goes when you pump it in. So anyway, so yeah, you want to install it the ring side in towards the shaft, and that's how this is going to go on. So let's get this. Okay, so I got the bearing on. I actually had to hammer it on. I used the plumber's type drain wrench. It actually fit on there perfect. Was able to hammer it in place. And I just also I went ahead and read their instructions real quick. I cannot do anything to this for 24 hours. I need to let it sit and cure for 24 hours before we finish the install. So we'll jump back on the video tomorrow. Okay, so I don't have exactly the exact tools I need to knock that in, but I did get it to work. So let me show you what I used. So I used my 2-pound, 3-pound sledge, and then I just built this with a Phillips into a socket, and that's it. And then it was perfect, and this actually held it nice and straight, and I was able to knock it in that way. All right, so that wraps up our install of the front driveline on the ProXP. So if you guys have any comments, please leave them below. Also in the description below, we have a link to our website where you can pick up a Rhino driveline. You can get the front, you can get the whole entire thing, you get the carrier bearings, all that kind of stuff. Just remember, if you do get a Rhino driveline, you have to get the carrier bearing. You cannot use the stock carrier bearing with the Rhino driveline. So they are billet, and they're a whole lot nicer, as you can see in the video, than what it comes from OEM, the manufacturer itself. We also have a ton of other products on our website, so check those out while you're there. And if there's anything else or any other questions that you guys need answered, just leave them in the comments below. Until next time, though, this is Garrett with Deranged Off-Road.